John here, and today we're going to do a paid request video. This is for Kevin. So Kevin, if you're watching, thank you. He wanted me to do a review and give thoughts on episode 1 of Secret Invasion, the latest Marvel series which stars Samuel Jackson. And, I did give this a watch, and right off the bat, I was not a fan of this. It was a chore to sit through, and I'll talk more about that here. But the premise of the show, so it's set in the present day MCU, and there's an invasion of Earth that are from the shape-shifting Skrulls. Nick Fury is called in and joined by the character of Talos, who's a Skrull, and other allies to prevent this invasion and to save our planet. And that's the plot of the show here. Now, usually with the movie, like when I review a film, I would mention the director first, and I don't know who directed this pilot here. I don't think it's worth mentioning. But the cast, okay, so Samuel Jackson is Nick Fury. I like Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury. But I do kind of wonder, because of how many times he's come back as this character, if perhaps he's a little bit overexposed. Now, this is coming from somebody that I'm a big fan of Samuel Jackson, even before Nick Fury. But I, kind of question, why have him lead a series knowing that, because people tend to forget that Samuel Jackson is approaching his mid-70s. Yeah, you can have Nick Fury sit around, but he's going to have, he's going to be very limited to what he can do action-wise. So I wonder and question, why have him lead a series when, that Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson is not going to be able to do much. And again, I love Samuel Jackson, but I just kind of, again, question that. But you got some other people here in the cast. You got the character of Talos, played by, I know his first name is Ben, but I can't remember his last name. I know that character was in Captain Marvel, and I do like that actor. And he's in the pilot here as Talos. He's a Skrull. You have Kobe Smulders, and I know I've seen her before. I like her as an actress. I want to say she was in the Jack Reacher sequel. If I'm wrong, please correct me on that. But she's in here. Dermot Mulroney, from Young Guns and other films. He's in here as the president. I'm like, okay, it's cool to see him in there. But, yeah, you do have the character in the beginning, and I forgot. I want to get the actor's name right. Like Martin, what is his name? Yeah, Martin Freeman. Yeah, so Martin Freeman, his character's in the beginning. Again, it's set in the present day. It's in Moscow. And, one thing that I was noticing, even throughout this whole episode here, why is everything so darkly, lit? Like, someone should turn on the lights. That's one thing throughout this episode. I'm like, why is it so dark? Why is it filmed this way? Like it's trying to be a David Fincher movie or whatever. Somebody needs to turn on the lights here. But they basically, long story short, again, there's an invasion that's happening from the Skrulls. Nick Fury is on Saber, which I don't know what that is. And, that's the thing about this episode here, watching it, is that, I kind of felt like at times I was lost. I've seen Captain Marvel, but at the same time, there's other stuff here in the plot and the way that, things are explained that I'm like, what's that or what's this? And, I'm supposed to fill in the blanks here. And I just, again, maybe it's because I'm just so out of the loop here when it comes to what Marvel has been doing lately and, other series out there and stuff like that. And again, I've seen Captain Marvel, but, I haven't, when did that come out? 2019. And I'm trying to, again, fill in the blanks here with certain references and, little nods here and there, and that's one thing that I didn't get. But Nick Fury, he comes in, and I'm kind of like going through some of the points here. Stuff that I wrote down. The fight scenes, I mean, you get like maybe 2 or 3 fight scenes in the pilot, but a lot of it is kind of, quick cut action. Again, you have Nick Fury and the Talos character trying to figure out, what's going on. And also, too, throughout this episode for me, why is it that, and I don't know if it's just my end, like, has anybody else noticed this? But it just seems like a lot of the dialogue is very softly spoken. Like when there's conversations between characters, or, they're trying to explain what's happening. Like everybody is so softly spoken, and it just seems very low. Just like the delivery of dialogue is very quiet. I don't know why. And you got some other characters here, like, the character of Sonya, which I've never seen this character before. Has she appeared before in a previous movie or a show? But, her and Nick Fury have a little bit of history. Emilia Clarke is in here as the daughter of Talos. And Emilia Clarke, of course, Game of Thrones, but she's not given much to do here. So if you're a big fan of Emilia Clarke, and maybe she does have a bit more to do in, future episodes, but again, she's not really given much to do here in the pilot. And you got some other things here, like the Skrulls, they take refuge at a nuclear power plant. And you get some fight scenes here and there. And you got, the lead Skrull, who, I don't know the actor's name. But, long story short, there's like a parade. And they're tracking this guy down. Samuel Jackson is, following the lead villain here, kind of through a crowd of people. You got Cobie Smulders, helping out Nick Fury. And long story short, at the end of the episode, she gets shot. And that's kind of it as far as this pilot goes. But that's the thing for me with the show is that, and people may say, well, give the show a chance. And, I'm trying to understand, what people are praising about this show, because there's nothing really exciting that this pilot offers. Samuel Jackson, you may like his Nick Fury, but for how long, can he keep playing this character? Knowing that, to me, and the general public, they don't know that Samuel Jackson is in his mid-70s. So he's very limited to what he can do. He can sit around and, he can deliver exposition and stuff. And, Samuel Jackson has, been in other stuff, and he's great. He's a great actor. But, throughout this episode, there's not a lot of excitement. The pacing is a bit of a chore. I really felt the pacing in this episode. Yeah, you got Cobie Smulders in there, and Delmont Maroney, and Emilia Clarke. You got some interesting names in the pilot here. But, where's the invasion? Where is the invasion? And I know some people are going to say, well, just give it time. It's a slow burn. But maybe it's just because, too, when it comes to, comic book movies in general, I'm just getting really burned out. And I know, just being critical here of this show, the hardcores are going to jump down my neck and, jump to assumptions that I just don't like anything Marvel. That's not the case. I can name quite a few Marvel films that I've liked, whether it be all the Captain Americas, the first Iron Man, the first Thor, even Thor Ragnarok, I can watch. I can have some fun with that. I know it kind of started the downfall of Thor. But, Doctor Strange is a great comic book movie, and much more. So I've liked some of what Marvel has put out, but honestly, I think Marvel has peaked. And, what you're seeing now is an oversaturation of, everything comic book. Everything has to have a show. Everything has to have a spinoff, and everything needs more. We need more and more and more. And, for every comic book film that comes out now, they expect you to fill in the blanks. Oh, like whatever comic book film that comes out, they expect you to know because you got to watch the show to fill in the blanks. And I'm like, no, I don't need to watch the show. And so I know, again, the hardcores are going to jump down my neck. I'm just being honest here. With the show, it's just nothing exciting for me. Again, I like Samuel Jackson. There's some actors in here that you've seen before that are good actors and stuff like that. But it just offers nothing. And I really don't see this show having a future. But that's just me. So, with all that being said, let me get to my final thoughts on Secret Invasion Episode 1. Samuel Jackson, I like as Nick Fury, but the bland direction and pacing made this hard to sit through. This is a thriller series, but the thrills are non-existent with a premise that isn't interesting. Perhaps to more hardcore fans that crave endless amount of Marvel content, this has legs, but when does it become too much? To me, this just represents more of the same, and overall, this wasn't for me. And out of 10, I'm going to give Secret Invasion Episode 1 a 3 out of 10. But thank you for watching, and have a good day.